My old friend Wyatt and Olivia were getting married. They were the picture-perfect couple, high school sweethearts, the kind you see in those cheesy romantic comedies. Everyone knew they were meant to be together. The invitations had gone out months ago, and the whole town was buzzing with excitement. The wedding day arrived, and we showed up expecting to see Olivia and Wyatt tie the knot. So, imagine our surprise when we arrived at the church and saw, not Olivia. Yeah, you heard me right. The bride was definitely not Olivia. Instead, it was a girl named Jenny, one of Wyatt's ex-girlfriends. There were a few seconds of confusion as we all tried to figure out if we were in the right place. Maybe this was some sort of elaborate prank or a last-minute change of plans. But no, this was the real deal. The couple had broken up about 2 weeks before the wedding. Apparently, they had a massive fight and called it quits for good. But here's the kicker. Wyatt was too cheap to cancel everything and lose all the money they'd already spent on the wedding. So, he came up with what he probably thought was a brilliant idea. He called up Jenny, who he'd dated briefly in college, and asked her to marry him instead. Now, you might be thinking, who in their right mind would agree to something like that? Well, Jenny did. Maybe she still had feelings for Wyatt, or maybe she just wanted to be married. Whatever the reason, she said yes. So, there we were, sitting in the church, watching Wyatt marry Jenny while everyone whispered and gossiped. The whole atmosphere was bizarre. People were constantly turning to each other, asking what happened to Olivia and why Jenny was there. The older folks were especially scandalized, whispering in quiet tones about the impropriety of it all. The ceremony itself was awkward. You could tell the priest was uncomfortable, and even Wyatt seemed a bit on edge. Jenny, on the other hand, looked like she was having the time of her life, smiling and waving at everyone. It was as if she was oblivious to the awkwardness or just didn't care. After the ceremony, we moved to the reception, and that's when things got really weird. You see, all the decorations, the table settings, even the cake, still had Olivia and Wyatt's names on them. There were pictures of Olivia and Wyatt together all over the place, making it painfully obvious that this wedding was not supposed to be for Jenny. As we sat down for dinner, the whispers grew louder. People were making guesses about what had happened. Some thought it was a prank, others speculated that Olivia had some sort of emergency, and a few had heard bits and pieces of the real story. Eventually, the truth started to spread. Someone who was close to Olivia filled us in on the details. Apparently, Olivia had found out that Wyatt had cheated on her multiple times. She confronted him, and when he didn't deny it, she called off the wedding. Wyatt, not wanting to lose the non-refundable deposits on the venue, catering, and everything else, decided to go through with the wedding anyway with a different bride. The awkwardness didn't stop there. During the speeches, Wyatt's best man gave the most uncomfortable toast I've ever heard. It obviously sounded like a last-minute change speech. At one point, he said, "Well, whoever you're marrying today, Wyatt, I wish you both the best." The crowd gave a nervous laugh, but you could tell everyone was cringing inside. Jenny's maid of honor, who none of us knew because she was one of her friends from another city, gave a speech about how Jenny and Wyatt were such a perfect match and how she'd always known they were meant to be together. The speech was filled with inside jokes that no one in the audience understood, which only added to the overall weirdness. The dancing portion of the evening was equally strange. The DJ played the couple's first dance song, and watching Wyatt and Jenny slow dance to a song that was clearly meant for someone else was surreal. Then, there was the father-daughter dance. Jenny's dad looked so uncomfortable the whole time, like he was trying to process how his daughter had ended up in this situation. As the night went on, people started to loosen up a bit. Maybe it was the open bar, or maybe we all just decided to embrace the weirdness. By the time the bouquet and garter toss rolled around, people were actually having fun, although in a "this is so awkward, let's just go with it" kind of way. At the end of the night, Jenny and Wyatt made their grand exit. They got into a car that still had "Just Married, Olivia and Wyatt" written on the back window. As they drove off, the guests slowly started to leave, shaking their heads and laughing at the absurdity of it all. In the days that followed, the whole town was buzzing about the wedding. It became one of those legendary stories that people would bring up at parties for years to come. Remember that time Wyatt married his ex-girlfriend because he was too cheap to cancel the wedding? It was the kind of thing you thought only happened in movies or trashy reality TV shows, but there it was, unfolding right before our eyes. So, yeah, that was by far the most awkward wedding moment I've ever witnessed. It's not every day you get to see a wedding where the bride is a last-minute stand-in and the groom is just trying to save a buck. It was uncomfortable and absolutely unforgettable.